Alrighty, y'all, welcome back to my channel. Elise Keith here. Today I'm going to be showing you how I go through the acrylic process of painting this country cow. So I always first and foremost lay down a base color, which is a light blue for my sky, and then I'm actually painting my clouds a darker blue, but I'm going to go back in with some values. So I'm going to do some darker blues underneath, some good shading, and then I'm going to top it off with some beautiful white highlights to make that sky look very detailed instead of just painting it one color. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my grass. I'm going to paint one base color. I'm choosing a light green, and then I'm going to build on details and values of that as well to make it look more realistic. But again, I don't want to make my background super duper detailed because most of the details are going to go on the cow to create focus on it instead, which is emphasis. So this is a time-lapse video. This would take much longer than 5 minutes today. I'm also, if you'll see, I'm using a bigger brush to paint down those base layers. This speeds up the process. It makes things very even. And then when I go in to paint smaller objects and then those details of the grass, semi-details, I'm using a little bit smaller of a brush, and this helps. So the brush size is very important here, which one you're using. The more details you do, the smaller the brush size. Less details, bigger areas, you're going to use a bigger brush. So now I'm going in with the nose for the cow, and as you'll see, even though I'm using acrylics, I'm actually kind of using a watercolor technique here. And this is to help me build values where I don't have to use as many different gray tones. So I actually diluted the black here. I'm with a very light gray base, and then I'm applying blacks that have less and less water over and over again to create a very detailed cow nose. And then I add those white highlights of the white acrylic paint to make the nose look very wet and nice. Okay, so I've got my face done. I go in, I do the eyes, I'm doing some details. I'm going ahead and establishing my pencil marks. So instead of just painting all of the cow one whole base, I did paint over some of the fur details because I thought that would be quicker. But I did keep those specific details, the details around the eyes. I kept those, and then I did a base coat for the rest of the cow. And if you'll see, actually it took 2 to 3 coats on this. If you do it just on one coat, it doesn't look as unified or as good. So you always, when you're doing acrylics, if you want to look very nice, smooth and clean, you want to at least do 2 layers. And if you still see some little white spots, then go in with the 3rd. And now I'm going back, I'm adding more details, and again, I've got all my colors on my left side because I am right-handed. I don't want to get my arm in some paint. I'm keeping the colors that I'm using at the moment on my left side, and I'm just going in and I'm applying details. So if you'll see, I'm picking like in between a light brown and a dark brown here, but I want to make sure that it's darker than that base color I added to have different values in the fur so that it really shows up and pops, but not as dramatic as black. And I'm just going back all over the face and forcing that. I'm going ahead and add some darker browns, maybe even some blacks here and there, and then some very, very light, almost tan browns for nice highlights of the fur. So when you're doing an animal, don't just think of one color. You want different colors in there, so not just one color brown, because it's going to be very flat, not very detailed and interesting. You definitely want to use different colors of browns, some blacks in there, some whites, some tans, some greens, and that's going to make your cow look more detailed and more valued and more interesting. Or even, anything that you're painting for that matter, but specifically animals, you're going to be using smaller and smaller brushes as you go through the painting process. If you'll see, when I first started out, the brush was bigger, just like the grass in the background, and then as I'm going in doing those fur details, I'm doing them smaller. And now I'm just signing my name on the side. You don't have to paint your canvas a color on the sides, but I chose to. And there you have it. There's the finished product of my country acrylic cow painting. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel, Elise Keith. Thanks.